Welcome back, everybody. Super Bowl week is finally here, and we've got ourselves a rematch for the ages.
The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs, round 2.
Round 2. It's only been 3 years since their last Super Bowl showdown.
But it really does feel like both teams have evolved so much in that time.
Absolutely. I think you could even argue that both of these teams are better than they were back in Super Bowl LV8.
I think you could make that argument for sure.
The Eagles are on a mission this year.
Fueled by that tough loss a couple years ago.
That's right. And you've got the Chiefs chasing a historic three-peat. This game really has all the makings of an instant classic.
It really does.
Now, before we break down this matchup, I want to remind everyone to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like.
Your support really does help us reach more passionate football fans just like you.
All right, so let's dive into the details here. What are some of the most significant changes since these two Titans last met on the biggest stage?
Well, the coaching changes for the Eagles immediately stand out to me. They brought in Kellen Moore as their new offensive coordinator. And then, of course, you've got the defensive mastermind, Vic Fangio.
And there's a lot of buzz around Kellen Moore potentially taking the Saints head coaching job after the Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. Huge opportunity for him if that materializes.
So how have these new coordinators shifted the Eagles' approach?
Well, Fangio's impact on that defense has been pretty transformative. I mean, he's brought his signature scheme, which has been widely adopted across the league, and it really emphasizes versatility and unpredictability.
Unpredictability.
Yeah, I think multiple coverages, disguised fronts, real knack for just really confusing quarterbacks.
Sounds like a nightmare for opposing offenses.
It really is.
What about Kellen Moore? How has he revamped that Eagles offense?
Well, he's introduced more pre-snap motion into the play calling, which adds another layer of complexity for defenses to decipher.
Right.
But perhaps the most impactful change offensively has been the arrival of Saquon Barkley.
He has been an absolute force this season. I mean, 7 touchdowns of 60-plus yards. That's insane to put that into perspective. You noted in your research that Barkley is actually on track to shatter Terrell Davis's single-season rushing record, including playoffs.
He is. What a season he's having.
What's been the key to his resurgence?
I think he's just a perfect fit for this offense.
Okay.
They've really shifted to a run-first approach this year. They're leaning heavily on Barkley's explosiveness and power.
Interesting.
It's almost like they've gone from relying on Jalen Hurts' dual threat ability to just building this unstoppable force on the ground.
Yeah, it's been fascinating to watch that evolution.
It really has.
And speaking of evolution, the Chiefs have remained remarkably stable under Andy Reid, with Matt Nagy leading the offense and Spagnuolo on the defensive side.
Right.
You wouldn't expect any drastic changes given their continued success, but have they made any adjustments?
Well, their core philosophy remains the same, but there have been some subtle but important tweaks.
Okay.
Spagnuolo's defense has evolved. You know, they're younger, they're more aggressive, and they're significantly more blitz-heavy than they were back in 2022.
So both defenses have become even more formidable since their last Super Bowl meeting.
Without a doubt, they're playing at an incredibly high level, which just sets the stage for an epic showdown.
For sure. And it's interesting, the Chiefs' passing game has become more horizontal compared to their previous Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that? What does that mean for their offensive strategy?
Sure, they're relying more on these shorter passes, quick releases, and exploiting mismatches with their tight ends.
Okay.
They've really embraced using multiple tight end formations, which creates a real puzzle for defenses to solve.
And that makes sense, especially with a weapon like Travis Kelce at their disposal.
Absolutely.
But has losing Tyreek Hill diminished their downfield threat at all?
To some extent, I mean, Mahomes hasn't had that same deep ball connections since Hill's departure.
Yeah.
However, they did draft the incredibly fast rookie receiver Xavier Worthy.
Right.
And he's been developing really rapidly and starting to emerge as a legitimate downfield threat.
So it seems like they're aiming to recapture that explosive element that they had with Hill.
They are, and Worthy's skill set, his ability to stretch the field vertically and make those contested catches, it's very reminiscent of Hill's impact.
It is.
However, there is one area of concern for the Chiefs, and that's their offensive line.
Okay.
While their interior is solid, the tackle positions are a potential weakness, especially going up against the Eagles' ferocious pass rush.
And that pass rush is a force to be reckoned with. How do you think the Eagles will try to contain Mahomes and that high-powered offense this time around, particularly with Fangio calling the plays?
Well, one key difference is Fangio's ability to disguise coverages and fronts.
Okay.
It makes it incredibly difficult for quarterbacks to decipher what's coming at them.
So we can anticipate a significantly different defensive approach compared to Jonathan than Gannon's strategy in Super Bowl LVI.
Absolutely. Fangio is a master at keeping quarterbacks guessing. And he's got a few tricks up his sleeve specifically designed to disrupt Mahomes' rhythm.
I'm sure he does. And in terms of personnel, are there any specific players that the Eagles will be relying on to try to shut down the Chiefs' key weapons?
Keep an eye on the rookie defensive backs, Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean.
Okay.
They've been standouts this season, and they'll be crucial in limiting the damage from the Chiefs' receivers.
And what about Travis Kelce, arguably the best tight end in the league? Who do they have to match up against him?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Fangio might utilize DeJean in man coverage situations against Kelce.
Right.
His strength and his speed could give Kelce some trouble.
That's a matchup I'm definitely going to be watching closely.
It'll be a fascinating battle to watch.
So it will.
Of course, the Eagles also have to figure out how to move the ball against Spagnuolo's revamped defense.
Right.
I mean, Spagnuolo is known for his aggressive blitzing and those disguised coverages.
He is. So the big question is, can Jalen Hurts replicate his incredible Super Bowl LVI performance, especially with this shift to a more conservative passing game? And can Saquon Barkley maintain his historic run against a defense that is specifically designed to stop him?
Those are the questions that will determine the outcome of this game. We'll delve deeper into those in just a moment.
Sounds good.
But first, a quick reminder to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like.
Your support helps us keep the insightful football analysis coming.
That's right. Let's pick up where we left off with those crucial questions you raised about Jalen Hurts, and can he replicate that Super Bowl 57 performance given this offensive shift?
Right. It was a truly unforgettable performance, but, as you mentioned, his role has kind of evolved with his emphasis on the run game.
Precisely, and with Quinvon Barkley carrying such a heavy load, Hurts is taking fewer risks downfield. He's become more of a game manager, prioritizing efficiency over those explosive plays.
So the question then becomes, can he be effective against a defense as elite as Kansas City's, especially when they're going to be so laser-focused on trying to stop Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating test for Hurts. The Eagles are really going to need their receivers, A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, to be incredibly efficient. They're going to have to make the most of their opportunities when Hurts does decide to throw.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about Dallas Goedert, too. He's another reliable target for Hurts and a real threat in the red zone.
Right. The Eagles still have plenty of weapons, even with this shift towards the run.
Okay, so let's switch our focus to the Chiefs' offense. Now, we've talked about their more horizontal passing game, this reliance on tight ends, but is that enough to overcome a defense as well-coached and as talented as the Eagles?
It's going to be a significant challenge. I mean, the Eagles' defense is designed to take away those quick, easy throws that Mahomes has thrived on.
Right.
They're going to try to force him to hold on to the ball longer, disrupt his timing, and make him uncomfortable in the pocket.
And we know they've got that formidable pass rush.
Yeah.
If they can exploit that potential weakness at the tackle positions on the Chiefs' offensive line, it could be a long day for Mahomes.
Those matchups up front are going to be absolutely crucial if the Eagles can generate consistent pressure. It really disrupts everything for the Chiefs offense.
It does, and we can't overlook the chess match between Fangio and Andy Reid either.
Oh, that's right. A battle of wits between two brilliant defensive minds.
It really adds another layer of intrigue to this whole matchup.
It does.
Okay, so let's move on to special teams. Are there any notable differences or any areas of concern compared to their last Super Bowl encounter?
Well, the Eagles kicker Jake Elliott hasn't been as consistent this season compared to his performance back in 2022.
So that's a potential area of concern then, especially in a close game where a single field goal could be the difference.
It's definitely something to watch. However, their punting game has improved and their return game has been solid all season.
Okay, and what about the Chiefs' special teams unit? How do they look?
Harrison Butker has been reliable when healthy, and their overall special teams unit has improved since 2022.
So it sounds like special teams might not be a decisive factor unless it comes down to a last-second field goal.
You never know. It's always a possibility in the Super Bowl.
Of course, and speaking of close games, it's worth noting that the Chiefs went undefeated in one-score games this season.
They did. That's a testament to their resilience and ability to perform under pressure.
It really is.
But the Eagles have shown their own grit in close games. Remember their impressive run after that Super Bowl 57 loss?
Yeah.
They have a knack for finding ways to win.
They do. This game truly has all the makings of another classic Super Bowl.
It does.
Before we move on to our final predictions and some key takeaways, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like.
Your support really does help us create more in-depth analysis just like this.
That's right. We'll be right back after a short break.
All right, we're back for our final analysis of this epic Super Bowl 59 rematch. As we've discussed, both teams have evolved, and they entered this game arguably even stronger than their previous encounter. What stands out to you as the most crucial element that could swing the momentum in either direction? You know, I keep coming back to that battle in the trenches. The Eagles' pass rush against the Chiefs' offensive line has the potential to be a game changer. If the Eagles can consistently get to Mahomes, force him into some rushed throws, disrupt that potent passing attack, it'll significantly impact the outcome of this game.
And on the flip side, the Eagles' offensive line, especially their interior with those lingering injuries, will be facing a formidable test against Chris Jones.
Oh, he's an absolute force in the middle of that defensive line. If Jones can dominate the line of scrimmage, penetrate the backfield, and disrupt the Eagles' run game, it could shift the momentum in the Chiefs' favor.
So much of this game seems to hinge on those matchups in the trenches beyond those key confrontations.
Yeah.
What else should we be paying close attention to?
Well, I'm particularly intrigued by how the Eagles plan to contain Travis Kelce. He is such a dynamic weapon for the Chiefs, and Mahomes trusts him implicitly. We talked about Dijon possibly covering him in man-coverage situations, but I anticipate Fangio deploying a variety of strategies. He might try to double-team Kelce at times, use zone coverage to disguise his intentions, and really just try to disrupt his route running.
It'll be a fascinating chess match between those two.
Absolutely. And on the other side of the ball, the Chiefs have got to find ways to contain Barkley if he gets going early, establishes that power running game, and forces the Eagles into those obvious passing situations. It's going to be incredibly difficult to slow down this Eagles offense.
It's a clash of styles, really, a battle of strengths against strengths.
It is, and ultimately it often comes down to execution in these big games. Which team can make those crucial plays in key moments? Which team capitalizes on mistakes? Which team ultimately imposes its will on the other?
Those are the questions that'll be answered come Super Bowl Sunday.
I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. This game has all the makings of an instant classic.
Oh, agreed. All right, so before we wrap up, a final thought-provoking question for our viewers. We've established that both the Eagles and the Chiefs are even better than they were when they last met in the Super Bowl. So is this a case of an unstoppable force, meaning an immovable object? Let us know your predictions and insights in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We appreciate your support. Till next time, enjoy the Super Bowl.
See you then.